sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball and a day game from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Philadelphia Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals trying to make it 3 of 4. And along with Tim McCarver, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us. It's a major league debut today. Tim Cooney, the lefty, who was 14-6 last year at AAA, makes his debut against the team that he cheered for as a kid.
War number 35, Cole Hamels' number, worked on the changeup. He's got a very good curveball, a sinking fastball, and again, that changeup that he has modeled after Cole Hamels.
Wearing number 66, Tim Cooney, making his major league debut this afternoon. Closing in on our first pitch, David Buchanan going for the Phils. Baseball coming up. Company. Cardinals closers with 8 or more saves in the month of April. Lee Smith did it twice in 91 and 93. Jason Isringhausen, and now Trevor Rosenthal. 18 pitches last night to close out the game. The Cardinals take game number 3 of the series. They'll try to make it 3 of 4 this afternoon. The Hall of Fame and Museum across the street. Beautiful shot there. Baseball comes your way next. Brought to you by Budweiser. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Budweiser Brewhouse just across the street. And we're inside Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And a look at Ryan Sandberg's lineup here this afternoon. Odubel Herrera hits from the left side. Then the switch hitting Freddie Galvis. Darren Ruff, his first start, and he'll be in left field. Ryan Howard, who homered last night. Then Jeff Rancourt. Cesar Hernandez, a switch hitter. Cody Ashe, the St. Louisan, playing third. Cameron Rupp is the catcher. David Buchanan is batting ninth in pitching. Major League debut for Tim Cooney out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
It's funny, Dan, when you first see a pitcher, I think the first thing you look at is where he is on the rubber. And last night we talked about Kevin Segrist and about how he throws from the third base side of the rubber, and it's really helped him. Well, the first thing you notice about Tim Cooney, he's right in the middle of the rubber, slightly maybe toward the first base side. But we'll see how he does today. Fastball, sinker, good curveball, and a changeup adopted, as we said on the opening, from Cole Hamels, his hero growing up.
The emotion right now for him.
Oh, my gosh.
Must be incredible. Family has flown in. They got word about this yesterday, so just in enough time to get a ticket for the day game in terms of arriving here. And he also was telling us that some of his college teammates from Wake Forest are here as well.
How about that? Could not have a more beautiful day to make your major league debut.
Say that again. This is just a gorgeous afternoon here in St. Louis. Odubel Herrera, and the first pitch is taken for a ball. I've been impressed with Herrera's hit .304, no home runs, 7 RBIs, but he can run. Made some nice plays defensively too.
Good looking young player, Rule 5 guy out of the Texas system.
How did you as a catcher deal with major league debuts of a pitcher?
Made sure that he knew it was okay to shake you off.
Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in command. By doing that, you put him in command. He's in charge.
Ground ball hit to short. One away. And Tim Cooney has recorded an out in the big leagues. Congratulations. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense with Holiday in left field, John Jay in center, Jason Hayward in right, Carpenter, Cosma, Wong and Adams along the infield. Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Now Tim Cooney can breathe a little bit.
Yeah, and it's overwhelming when you have the best catcher in the game catching you too, and Yadier Molina.
I was talking with Mike Matheny about that. Here's Freddie Galvis, moves up to the second spot in the lineup. I said, how did you deal with it being a catcher in all these major league debuts? Exactly what you said. You're in control. There's a base hit to left. Don't worry about shaking him off. Realize, though, you've got one of the game's best behind the plate.
Right.
And he said, and I thought this was great. He said, from a manager's perspective, I tell all my guys when they make a major league debut, whether it's a pitcher, position player, every once in a while in your first game, step off the pitcher's rubber, the pitching rubber, and take it in.
And breathe.
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 Take it in.
Don't take a step forward. Take a step back.
Relax as much as you can. Get through the first inning. And breathe. Pitch inside to Darren Ruff.
Another thing, and Yachty certainly knows this, don't be too fine too early. Use the middle of the plate for your target, not the outside lane or the inside lane unless you get ahead.
That was the other point Mike made. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Darren Ruff. Instead of check on Galvis at first base. The second from the 2012 class of the Cardinals draft that has made it to the big leagues. The other was Michael Wacha. And the 1-0. Cardinals feel from spring training 2 years ago to this year, much improved breaking ball. You've talked about the changeup. Grew up idolizing Cole Hamels.
I think that 1-0 pitch was a changeup in a fastball count. That's a good sign early.
Here's a 1-1. Up the middle, base hit. So we got the first man, and now back-to-back singles, and it brings in Ryan Howard.
Fastball to Galvis, single to left. Fastball to Ruff, single to center.
Well, Tim Cooney said he skipped high school for a day to attend the World Series parade in 2008. And growing up, when he played baseball video games, he always used Ryan Howard as his player because, according to him, quote, Howard hit bombs. And now he faces him here in the big leagues. Overwhelming, I'm sure, to an extent.
Ryan Howard playing for the Phillies from St. Louis. And Cooney pitching for the Cardinals from Pennsylvania.
Role reversal here.
What a game.
So this is the first time through the Cardinals pitching rotation they do not have Adam Wainwright. This would have been his start. And he had surgery this morning. Jim Hayes will update our fans on the status of Wainwright and how that went. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Ryan Howard. With this shift, Tim, and the Cardinals in particular, second baseman Colton Wong busy last night with Howard, the shortstop is right by the bag to potentially turn two.
Difference between a guy on at second and a guy on at first is at second base you don't hold him on. But Cosma's in a perfect position to almost be like a first baseman.
2-1. Laz Diaz is calling the balls and strikes. Chris Guccione at first, Corey Blazer at second, Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, is down at third. Here's a 2-1. Howard stays away, 3-1. Jeff Francoeur on deck.
Key pitch in the early going right here. Don't want to give in to Howard, and yet you don't want to walk him.
The 3-1 in the air, left center. Jay back with room, got it up against the wall. Galvis tags up from second to third. Nice play again by John Jay in center. How about the center fielders defensively for the Cardinals in this series?
Oh, man. Borges and Jay all over the place. Unless it's in the stands, they catch it.
They know their speed. They hit the warning track. Know how many steps they have to get to that wall. Jeff Francoeur. So Tim Cooney in the minor leagues, 68 games. 65 of those were starts. 2 years ago at Double-A, last year Triple-A, and now in the big leagues. Runners at first and third. Strike one to Francoeur. Out in front, 0-2.
Well, an experienced National League pitcher knows that when you're ahead of Jeff Francoeur, you're way ahead of Jeff Francoeur. He will swing at almost anything with 2 strikes.
And the 0-2. Fans wanted it, didn't get the call, and it's 1-2. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks missed inside. One-two pitch to Jeff Francoeur. 2-2.
That Galvis, a smart base runner at third base, knowing inexperience is on the mound and really pressing. He's trying to get into the vision of Cooney, going as far down the line as the third baseman is off the bag.
"17 pitches this far in the first inning, and the major league debut of Tim Cooney. The 2-2. Francoeur, swing and a miss. First strikeout in the big leagues. Tim Cooney. and 2 games in front in the Central Division. Matt Carpenter will bat second. Then Matt Holliday. Adams is your cleanup man. Jason Hayward, Yadier Molina, Colt Wong, Pete Kozma batting 8th, and Tim Cooney will bat 9th. The Cardinals will face right-hander of the Philadelphia Phillies, David Buchanan. Buchanan is 0-4. Rough start so far this season.
Kurt Simmons was a great pitcher. Not a Hall of Famer, but a great pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. Then he came to the Cardinals in 1961. And Kurt used to say the best way to monitor whether you're a good pitcher or not are your at-bats.
Really?
Meaning that if you have 3 at-bats in a game, you're doing well.
You're going deep into a game.
David Buchanan this year is 0-4 with 4 at-bats.
Yikes.
That's why his earned run average is over 750.
John Jay, base hit into right. The Cardinals' leadoff men, which has been Matt Carpenter, John Jay, Peter Borges, and Jay again, now 7 for 14 in this series. Ruff, Herrera, Francoeur in the outfield. Ashe, Galvis, Hernandez, and Howard on the infield. Cameron Rupp, former Texas Longhorn, is behind the plate. And David Buchanan on the mound.
That's an interesting way to look at it, isn't it? I mean,
sure
Kurt
is.
Always, he used to say in meetings prior to a series, everybody was straight away. There was one guy in the National League that he played as outfield, step to pull, Henry Aaron. And the reason, Kurt said, Abner Doubleday put him there for a reason.
Is that right?
Yes. Everybody behind him played straight away on the infield and the outfield. One exception, Henry Aaron, a step to pull.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm curious how often you talk to Henry Aaron. You go back to the Hall of Fame every year, or just about?
Used to go hunting with Henry Aaron.
Did you really?
Yes, sir. 1972. Henry Aaron chasing Babe Ruth. I think there wasn't some notoriety on that trip.
Wow. Carpenter shoots it into deep right center field. This is trouble for the Phils. One hops off the wall. Here comes Jay, all the way from first. He'll score, and Matt Carpenter back at it again. 1-0 Cardinals, and what do you know? It's another double.
You know, it's interesting that Jay, a center fielder, had the best read of anybody. I thought I was going to look up and see Jay stopping between first and second. No, sir. He was off with the crack of the bat, scores easily. No delay whatsoever.
Is there a hotter hitter right now in baseball than Matt Carpenter?
Nope.
Tim, that's 13 doubles in 21 games. Man. His 14th RBI. And here's Holliday, whose on base percentage is .500. That's a base hit into right, slicing near the line. Fair ball into the corner. Holliday will change spots with Carpenter. 2-0 St. Louis here in the first.
Boy, a fired up offense once again. Coming out 2 nights ago, hacking. Coming out today, hacking. After last night's batting around in the 5th inning to score 4 of the 5 runs they scored in the game.
Now Matt Adams with the runner at second base. The double, by the way, for Carpenter. And he has the most in franchise history before May 1st in Cardinals history, which dates back to 1892.
It's almost one every other game.
Right. If he has one more extra base hit, he'll tie Mark McGwire and Albert Pujols for the most before April comes to a close.
That's fair company.
Fair.
Fair.
Not bad.
No.
One with nearly 600 home runs. The other one, first ballot Hall of Famer. 0-2 pitch. Adams rips it into right, sinking base hit. Holliday to third. 4 consecutive hits. Cannon, Andrew Kashner, hard throwing right-hander of the Padres, Philip Hughes, Kyle Loesch, and CC Sabathia, all with 4 losses this year. Those are some pretty good pitchers on that list.
Phil Hughes, a reclamation project with the Minnesota Twins, had a good year last year. CC Sabathia is still trying to find that touch that he had for so many years with Cleveland and his early years with the Yankees.
Andrew Kashner was part of the Anthony Rizzo deal with the Chicago Cubs. Very good pitcher. Bob McClure out to visit, the pitching coach of the Philadelphia Phillies. Pitched with St. Louis in 1991 and 92. And the Hyundai pitch arsenal, and you look at that, and it doesn't really matter. Bottom line is he's not getting many people out.
Yeah, there's almost nothing a pitching coach or catcher can do when you know the mindset is, oh no, not again. In baseball, in its ruthless approach, that's the way you got to handle a guy who's struggling on the mound. Attack.
Jason Hayward bounces it to short. Out at second, the turn, and a double play. Run does score. And there's 2 down here in the bottom of the first. So Holiday scoring the 3rd run for St. Louis here in the first inning. And it brings in Yadier Molina. Breaking ball and a strike to Yadi. Was talking with Whitey Herzog about this time last year. He said, really, when you look at it, Molina's a Hall of Famer. He said, I think Matt Holliday has a good chance to get in. He's 35. Let's say he plays till 40. Wainwright outside shot. Now that's changed because of the injury. This is the golden age of Cardinals baseball when you think about it. The 40s were great. 60s were great. We mentioned it.
The 80s.
80s were great, but 11 of the last, well, since 2000, they've been in postseason play 11 times. 4 World Series appearances. The 1-2.
And all the while winning, going to the postseason, and yet continuing. And it's remarkable, and that's why the Cardinals are the envy of baseball, that they continue to develop players while still winning.
In the air, that's well hit. Left center. And it'll stay in the ballpark as Darren Ruff puts it away, the left fielder. Tim Cooney has been given a 3-run lead as Holiday and Carpenter red hot in the first month of 2015. 3-0 after 1.
Ricky Horton, you were a good major league pitcher.
You bet.
Period.
He closed. He was a setup. He was a starter and part of some championship teams. 85 and 87 here. 88 with the Dodgers, World Series champion. Don't sell yourself short. Cesar Hernandez, the switch hitter. 2 balls and no strikes. I would say the first inning went about as well as it could have for Cooney. Got out of a jam. First major league strikeout, no runs allowed, and then the Cardinals pick up 3 in the bottom of the first. He was scheduled to start for Memphis, the AAA affiliate of the Cardinals, 2 nights ago, and was scratched. And with all the lefties that the Phillies do have potentially in their lineup, this seemed to be the right matchup for him in terms of making his major league debut.
That's well put.
The 3-1, just a bit low. So a leadoff walk. Cooney is more of a control pitcher. I think we've seen right now. It's not overpowering stuff. Cardinals say that he's got a pretty good move. One of the better moves in the organization. And last year, he nearly threw a no-hitter against the Iowa Cubs, the AAA affiliate of Chicago. He was 1 out away. And that pitch is taken low by Cody Ashe.
That no-hitter was broken up by Arismendi Alcantara of the Cubs. He was actually with, obviously, Iowa, the AAA affiliate of Chicago. Don't want too many meetings.
Are you buying the start here of the Chicago Cubs at 12 and 8, only 2 games out?
I'm not surprised, and I don't think you are either.
No.
Great manager, John Lester, and some fine young offensive players.
And young players that do have experience. When you think about Rizzo, Castro, that gets overlooked. They're young, but they've been up for a while. There's a base hit into right. So the first 2 have reached here at the top of the second. Let's turn to Tim McCarver's Toyota keys to the game.
That's pretty easy today. How will Tim Cooney do in his outing? That's the obvious key. How many innings and how many pitches from the young left-hander? No, Dan, you mentioned that kind of played hooky from school in the 2008 parade. You know who else played hooky from school and went to that parade? I'll tell you after this pitch.
Here's Cameron Rupp.
Mike Trout.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he was in the same throng of people that Tim Cooney was, going down Broad Street from City Hall to the stadium.
How many fans of the Pirates, the Phillies, the Mets, the Yankees, Red Sox are saying, wait a minute, East Coast kid and we missed him? He's the best player in the game.
Already. This is 4th year.
When Albert Pujols left St. Louis, that was what was shocking, is that he goes to the Angels, and after about 2 months, you figured out he wasn't the best player on his own team.
That's true.
3-0.
Oh, boy. Get it back together and realize where you are. You have a 3-run lead. Use the infielders and outfielders behind you.
And he is known for his control, too. He's gone 3-0. A walk already in this inning. There's a strike. If not for the injuries to Jaime Garcia and Marco Gonzalez, we probably wouldn't be in this position of seeing Tim Cooney make his major league debut. 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2.
Well, you think Cooney, Cameron Rupp didn't have a home run in mind with that swing?
Trying to tie it up.
A free 3-1 fastball. He knew he was going to get it. Now 3-2. It's a different story.
8th place hitter here. Pitcher on deck. Then the top of the lineup. 3-2 pitch. And he got him. Comes back to strike out Cameron Rupp, who may have chased a ball.
Yeah, I think that ball was out of the strike zone up. Pretty standard delivery from Tim Cooney. Helped out there, and you know, if you're a pitcher, you'll take that. Thank you.
David Buchanan. How many more plate appearances will we see? As you mentioned earlier, 3 for the starter. Okay. He pulls back and takes a ball. Buchanan, another kid from Atlanta, Georgia, growing up for, rooting for the Braves. Just amazing the amount of talent that's come out of that area from the era of the Atlanta Braves and those championship teams. Bunt rolls foul. Mentioned that Jim Hayes is with us, and after this half inning, he'll visit with Tim Cooney's parents. I'm sure they're nice and relaxed.
You know, one of the more prominent players that came out of that Georgia area, Adam Wainwright.
Without question.
So influenced by the success of those Braves starters. Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Steve Avery.
There's mom and dad watching. And this bunt rolls foul. I mean, just in this game alone, Tim, you've got Buchanan, Hayward.
Yep.
Brian McCann was another one, the switch hitting catcher of the Yankees. There are others too that didn't even grow up in that area, but because of TBS grew up fans of the Atlanta Braves.
Good point. Yeah, that was Ted Turner's marketing that team as America's team. 14 straight division titles for Bobby Cox.
The 1-2 off speed pitch taken just a bit high. David Buchanan, one of 7 kids from Fayette County High School, and it was on to Georgia State. The 2-2, a little bit high. How about mom? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's a great shot. 3-2 pitch. That time he got him a strikeout. Second in the inning, third this afternoon for Tim Cooney.
Understandably oblivious to those around them.
Live and die with every pitch.
It's like they're the only 2 in the stadium today after an empty stadium yesterday in Baltimore.
Odubel Herrera grounded out to short, first time up. Runners at first and second. 2 outs and a 3-run lead for the Cardinals.
Thing about Herrera, even his outs in this series have been hard. He is a good-looking young player.
One 1-0 pitch. Tim, I have twins that are 6. I have an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old. I go to a Little League game and I'm biting my nails watching that. I can't imagine what it's like for the parents right now of Tim Cooney.
You may get that feeling someday. Who knows?
That would be special.
I would think.
Here's a 1-1. Through the middle and through Cooney and a base hit. Throw behind the runner at second. And the Phillies get on the board. Hernandez scores, and it's now 3-1.
Cooney falling behind most of the hitters here in the second inning with a 3-run lead. Know where you are. Very, very important.
Runners at first and second. Those are some great shots by the guys in the truck. Reaction to the parents here for Tim Cooney making his major league debut. Freddie Galvis. Then the highlight of the afternoon, Jim Hayes strolls on in. Mom, Dad, how we doing? Not well, Jim. Get out of our way. Thank you. Back up to you. I thought Jim's interview with the parents of Mitch Harris was exceptional. The emotions for that family. A lot of debuts for the Cardinals. Mitch Harris, Cody Stanley, now Tim Cooney. Matter of fact, last time 3 Cardinals made their major league debuts within 1 week, not including September when you always see the call-ups, was 2013. That was a championship team. Jermaine Curtis, Seth Maness, and Carlos Martinez all made their big league debuts. A team that went to the World Series. The 2-1 pitch. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Cosma will go across the diamond, and he makes the play. We'll hear from those parents coming up. Looney for Cooney. We're going to have a sign for him. Cardinals drafted Tim Cooney, 3rd round of 2012, now in the big leagues, making his debut in a gorgeous afternoon here at Busch Stadium. Jim Hayes, take it away.
Yeah, we're with the parents, Chris and Candace, sister Nicole, some former Wake Forest teammates behind us. So, Chris, I saw Tim before the game, and he seemed calm and collected. How are you holding up?
Not quite as well, but we're hanging in there. Obviously, we've been looking forward to this for a long time, and it's very exciting, very nerve-wracking, but we're just really happy for him.
He's pitching around a little trouble in the early going. Mom, how are you holding up?
Well, you're sitting next to me. You can tell I was a little anxious there, and I get very anxious when Tim pitches, so it's unfortunate. I try to enjoy it, but
I think you're doing great. How excited is he for this opportunity?
He has worked so hard, so long. He is so excited. Although when you talk to him, he's kind of a little bit low-key. But down deep, it just means everything to him. It really does.
I know it adds something for him because he grew up in the Philadelphia area as a Phillies fan. We know he went to the 2008 World Series parade. We know he idolized Cole Hamels. How much did that add to making this particular start for him?
I do think that makes this a little unnerving, but at the same time, all more part of that dream come true. Do you know what I mean? Who gets to pitch against guys that he idolized, when he was in high school and grade school. So it is very exciting.
There's just so many family and friends back home that have been sending us messages, and they're all watching the game. So it's just wonderful.
He told me he's past being a Phillies fan. He's all Cardinals now. But what about the family? Are they still Phillies fans?
I think so. Yeah, except for when the Cardinals. The Cardinals take the top, but we still like the Phillies.
Well, you guys have been great. Enjoy the moment. We'll get out of your hair. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Good stuff, Jim. Chris and Candace, sister for Tim Cooney, family and friends here in attendance at Busch Stadium. Major League debut. Here's Pete Kozma after the ground out by Colton Wong.
So the Phillies have moved from first place to second place. That's all.
That's the way you have to look at it.
Cardinals have replaced them.
And a base hit for Pete Kozma. Two decades, or really 3 decades for you in Major League Baseball. Great franchises. You think about Boston, the Phillies, obviously here in St. Louis. The memories that you have, Tim McCarver, as Tim Cooney digs in, are so much more than just what happens between the white lines, too. The memories away from the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
And earlier today, we had to honor our good friend, Mr. Cunningham. Wasn't that fun?
No, Joe Cunningham. Boy, did that bring back memories. Meeting here at a surprise, actually, naming a huge area room, a pie-shaped room, named Cunningham Corner. It's not a corner in the room.
He's given so much to this organization, and given so much once his playing career was through to, local kids groups here in the area.
What a job he did for a long time, huh?
Mm-hmm. He was the one that really reached out into schools, communities to try to get them engaged into Cardinal baseball. Now Al Raboski is doing that. And the school programs that he developed. One ball, one strike.
Joe's wife, Kathy, they've been married since 1960. So I see him, the first time I'd seen Kathy in about 20 years. And Joe, too, for that matter.
That definitely had to bring back memories.
And Kathy said, "You remember you were in the back seat of our car when Joe proposed to me." And I'd forgotten that until the minute she said it. Actually, I was thinking about with Ron Klein, a right-handed pitcher, and I forget who the third player was.
2-1 to Cooney. Gets the bunt down. Nicely done. The throw to third. The Cardinals run themselves right out of the inning.
Well, that's a great play by the catcher, Cameron Ruff. He is the guy who fields third base on a bunt like that. Very well done. there is blame and credit given on one play. Now, Kozma is to blame, and it was a bad base running mistake making the third out of the inning at third base. But more credit is given to the Phillies catcher for covering third base where he should be, and he receives the throw in a rare 5-4-2 double play.
Heads-up play.
Yes, it was.
Here's Darren Ruff. Ruff, Howard, and Francoeur. Cameron Rupp, I mentioned earlier, that the catcher of the Phillies played for Augie Garrido at Texas. And I used to call a lot of Big 12 baseball games, and he at that time was considered one of the top prospects in all of baseball. Not just catching prospect, but in all of baseball. Position players, pitchers, they feel he's just starting to come into his own. 1-2 the count. Ruff with a base hit his first time up. Tim Cooney, if you're wondering, is listed as MLB.com's 10th best prospect in the Cardinals organization. That's hit a ton into left center. Jay is back, looks up, and it's gone. So a home run for Darren Ruff is second of the year, fourth RBI, and that cuts the lead to 3-2.
The ex-Phillies manager, Charlie Manuel, loved Darren Ruff. Said he's going to be a productive power hitter in the major leagues. He's off to a rough start this year. That gives you an idea of what kind of power he has. I mean, that ball got out of here in a hurry. Rough. Pitch looked like it was off the plate away, which means there's a guy with plate coverage looking for the fastball, getting it, and squaring up on it. Big, strong Darren Ruff.
Ryan Howard. Talking about this the other night. Phillies, if you include this year, owe Ryan Howard $50 million with a $10 million buyout. That's into right center, and that's trouble. That ball is down and bobbled just a bit between Jay and Hayward, and Howard trots into second base with a leadoff double. MLB.TV. Watch every out-of-market game live in high definition. #1 live streaming sports service, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV. Derek Lilliquist out to visit. Home run and a double to start at the top of the third. In this series, Cardinals were shut down by Cole Hamels in game one. A 4-1 Phillies win. Tuesday night, 11-5 for St. Louis with a season high 11 runs and 15 hits. Last night, Carlos Martinez, 6 innings, only 2 runs allowed, and a 5-2 win. And today it's Tim Cooney in a 3-2 lead. Ground ball that's hit to third. Carpenter across the diamond for the out. T-Mobile game changer for Tim Cooney and the St. Louis Cardinals. It's the last 5 seasons. Total players drafted and the players that reach Major League Baseball, 16. And I think, Tim, that's furthering the point that you're talking about. It's a team that's winning, so you're drafting lower, and yet they're finding good players middle rounds, and that 20th round beyond is an Adams, a Rosenthal, base hit into right. They'll not test Mr. Hayward on this particular situation with Howard running.
Phillies continue to hit Cooney rather hard. And for that reason, I think Mike Matheny properly is going to make a move here.
So Carlos Villanueva has been getting loose in the pen. Will come out, and that'll be it for Tim Cooney. Villanueva, the long man, and a nice round of applause for Cooney in his major league debut. You find a servicing steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals.
One thing, if you're Tim Cooney and your family at dinner tonight, you're going to feel initially like it's the hardest thing that we've ever had to approach was this afternoon. But you know what? It goes away. It's okay. Did what you could. Now it's time for the Cardinals to bring in somebody else who does better. It's the nature of the game.
There's Cody Ashe.
Fact is, it's not the end of the world. But right now, understandably, it feels like it.
Upset, frustrated.
Sure.
2 1/3, 7 hits, struck out 3, gave up the home run, and he walked 1. And now time is called. So the Cardinals need innings from Villanueva here this afternoon. This is what the loss of Wainwright could present for the Cardinals.
I was thinking the same
innings.
thing, Dan. Yeah.
Ground ball pulled foul. And Tim, even if you have Marco Gonzalez up here or Jaime Garcia, Marco a year ago as a starter didn't go all that deep into games anyway. Garcia, you know, they're going to keep a watchful eye on him. It's not like he's up here and he's going to start busting out 7, 8 innings every 5th day. You wouldn't think.
No.
Here's a 1-1. And that's well hit into deep right field. Hayward is back. He'll look up. Makes the catch. Crashes up against the wall. Howard will score. And a nice play from the Cardinal right fielder, Jason Hayward.
I didn't think any baseball park in the country would have held that ball hit by Ashe. I thought that ball was out immediately. But we've said it several times here. April air. Ball just does not travel like it does during the hotter months. Of course, nice play by Hayward coming up with that ball. And even though the Phillies tied, it could have been a lot worse.
Remember the ball last night? He almost pulled it back in, the Howard home run. And Jason said after the game, he said, I should have had it. He was frustrated with himself. And we saw that in his reaction.
Sure.
That ball that just made it over the fence. 2 outs. Cameron Rupp, Phillies catcher at the plate. Villanueva check on Hernandez. 2 outs and the runner at first. This becomes an important outing for Villanueva with just 1 out in the 3rd. When you look at how the bullpen is structured for the Cardinals, ideally Randy Choate sees 1, maybe 2 hitters. He's a lefty specialist, and so you're not going to go long with him. And some of the others, you don't want to see them get beat up and have to throw an awful lot. Out at second base. Hernandez gunned down by Molina. Before we head to break, Ryan Sandberg may challenge this. He's out.
Looked like it was to me.
He extends the foot to the bag. See how it stops just a little bit? That was in front of the bag. It wasn't touching the bag, and there's the swipe tag and out. Good call from Corey Blazer.
The tag made that play. A quick tag by Wong. I think that left foot slid over the bag, too, and came off the bag.
So Molina guns him down. Bottom of the 3rd rolls in. 3-3. Receive that throw.
I really did. Not only receiving the throw, but slapping the tag down. There are some middle infielders that receive the ball in front of the bag and bring it back. Wong straddling the bag, and because the left foot of Hernandez came off the bag, he maintained the tag. He didn't slap it down as so many second basemen do. But credit the tag as much as the throw on that putout.
Close the book on Tim Cooney. Major League debut, 7 hits, 3 runs. And he goes 2 1/3. 52 pitches today. John Jay singled to right and scored, part of a 3-run first for St. Louis. Down the right field line, and that hook's foul. Having lost 2 straight, the Phillies are now in the bottom of the National League East, a record of 8-14, 1 game back of Washington.
Jay, very adept at hitting the ball back through the middle with 2 strikes. What does he do? He pulls it.
Right on cue.
What an analyst.
Now, this is something interesting here, looking at the Mats. We're talking about Matt Carpenter, Matt Holliday, Matt Adams. Well, we're talking about driving one another in. Holliday has never driven Adams in. With the changeup in the lineup, you never know if Carpenter would drop down in the lineup to that 5 spot, but you've got Holliday in that 3rd spot. Matt Carpenter primarily as a leadoff man or hitting in front of Holliday, so they have been the 3-Matt attack in this series. And yet for their careers, some unique numbers. 2 balls and no strikes. Carpenter with an RBI double and a run scored in the 1st. Great numbers to start this year for Matt Carpenter. .369 average. That misses in, and he draws a walk. So the first walk issued by Buchanan, and it brings in Holliday. I thought it was interesting. Jim Hayes told us last night he talked to Holliday, and I mean, how do you argue with an on-base percentage of .500, right?
Right.
I mean, he's getting on base, he's driving in runs with 12, but he said Holliday, has made a conscious effort to notice the fact that he hasn't been hitting many extra base hits, much less home runs.
Yeah, but you can notice it and not be able to do anything about it. I mean, obviously the statistics are there every day floating around the clubhouse. Guys know every single thing about their batting average and their hitting. But there's nothing you can do about it. You cannot force home runs. If you try to force home runs, that front shoulder comes flying out of there. The back shoulder drops. You end up popping balls up. And now you're in a slump.
2-0 the count. 1 out, runner at first. Gorgeous afternoon here in St. Louis. Pittsburgh will be in town tomorrow. All 3 games on Fox Sports Midwest. And then the Cubbies' first visit to Busch Stadium next week. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Holliday.
Along those lines, too, Dan, we talked about it a little last night. But you can be a strong hitter and hit the ball very hard. But if you don't have lift in your swing, the bottom part of the ball, like for instance, McGuire had, Pujols had lift in their swing, and that's really not talked about enough, I don't think. One guy can actually be stronger than the other guy, but not have lift in his swing and consequently not hit as many home runs.
McGuire talked about literally putting backspin on the ball with his swing.
Sure.
It was designed to do that.
Right.
The 2-2 pitch to Holliday. Now, with him hitting a lot of balls on the ground, you think about the double play. Holliday has only hit into 1 double play this year, which is a bit surprising. He hits into a lot of double plays, but it's a byproduct of hitting the ball so hard.
It's a lesson somewhat because Carpenter's going to be running here.
Matt is as locked in as we've seen him. Came over in 2009 from Oakland, went on a tear. He just may launch one. In the air. Shallow right center. And the catch is made as Carpenter is back to the bag. Get St. Louis's 2 favorite destinations for one great price with the Cardinals Six Flags Double Play Combo. Double Play Combo includes a ticket to a Cardinals game and a one-day pass to Six Flags St. Louis. Get yours now at cardinals.com/Six Flags. Matt Adams has singled to right. You look up, Matt Adams, slow start, now hitting .292. Pair of home runs, 11 RBIs. And the shift is on here for Matt. I don't know about you, Tim. I know the Cardinals have talked to him about dropping down bunts against this pronounced of a shift. But against Buchanan, a right-hander who has not pitched well this year, I'd assume, and it's kind of like passing the buck and saying, okay, Jason Hayward, you go do it. Maybe get some damage, but I want to see Adams swing. You in that school of thought or not?
Yeah, I think so. Overall, I mean, if he bunted here with a man on first, it wouldn't be bad. If there were nobody on, it'd be bad. It's a bad play. But with a man on first, at least you get him in a scoring position, so it becomes less bad.
Adams, high drive.
That's
what I want to see. Thank you, Matt Adams. Thank you. Hey, thanks. I want to see that.
That was better.
That one is one of the longest we've seen from Matt Adams in the last year or so at this ballpark over the Cardinals bullpen, a 2-run homer. And that makes it 5-3 St. Louis.
Yep, that's better than bunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That particular case.
Yeah. Looked like he almost hit that ball one-handed.
It's out in front a little bit.
Yeah.
Strike to Jason Hayward. Hayward, nice play. Ryan Howard takes an extra base hit away. So the question against the shift, do you bunt? Do you swing away? Could go either way. This time, Matt Adams swinging away. Puts the Cardinals back on top with a long home run. On top 5-3. Saturday, Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 continues with another doubleheader. West Coast Interleague Showdown, Angels and Giants, followed by the Reds and Braves. Coverage begins at 2:30. Home of baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Strike two, Cameron Rupp. Rupp, Buchanan, then the top of the lineup. Well, it is the NFL draft today.
wearing a Kansas City helmet in St. Louis.
Joe Montana jersey, I believe.
Yeah.
Popped up near the line. Wong, good play. Foul territory for the first out. It is amazing the marketing machine that is the National Football League with the draft compared to other sports.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
No.
I thought baseball, though, has done a good job of making the first round more of that feel.
Better.
Yes. Held in New York, and MLB Network carrying that. Having a better idea of who some of these players are. I mean, in years past, even as recent as 5, 6, 7 years ago, you'd get a name, you hear about him, look at his numbers, and say, okay. The NFL players make an impact immediately. More times than not, 99.9% of the time, major league players drafted, then developed. As Villanueva gets a strikeout, his first.
Well, for some of you folks who may not know that baseball used to hold the draft 2 months out of the season in January and June. I think that practice was stopped in '86, I believe.
Mid-'80s for sure.
Yeah. So now there is only one draft. That's in June. But it used to be twice a year, not once a year.
Well, I think baseball is going to have to take a hard look at the international players and how to incorporate them into the totality of the draft. I mean, in years past, if you had the most money, you threw it at as many kids as you could, the Dominican and Puerto Rico, wherever they may be coming from, and just take a chance on them.
Well, if Major League Baseball does that, it's going to cost Major League Baseball more money, and that's why they haven't done it.
2-0.
Now, that's the plain truth.
Period. End of story.
Right.
Top of the lineup for the Phils. 2 balls, no strikes on Herrera. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Tim, you take Cole Hamels out of this rotation for the Phils. Assuming at some point he's traded this year, it is going to be a long year for the fighting Phils.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long year anyway, but you're right. I mean, you take that many innings and that much efficiency out of your starting staff, and he'll be gone by the deadline on July 31st. No question, in my view.
Ruben Amaro is talking about how the market is really taking shape right now. Teams are figuring out who they are in the first month. Injuries happen. You get a better idea of the marketplace. He's the general manager of the Phils. And a ground ball that's hit to second. Wong. Good work so far by Carlos Villanueva. Cooney with mom and dad watching. Sister as well. And our AT&T U-verse rewind. Some of the reactions of the family.
Kind of refreshing to see him still out there. A lot of pitchers will go in, shower, and remaining their street clothes till the game's over. But Tim trying to take it all in. You can certainly understand his feelings. Not a good performance, but still out there as a cheerleader now.
Not the shortest outing ever for a major league debut for the Cardinals. Matter of fact, Johnny Stewart back in 1922 did not record an out.
In his debut.
In his debut, major league debut. Short outing by Donovan Osborne back in 1992. He went 2 innings. It's the shortest of the most recent major league debuts we've seen.
And Donovan became a serviceable major league pitcher.
3-1 pitch. Tim, he started in Tony La Russa's first year here in St. Louis, 1996, Game 7. And I'm not sure you were on the call of this, but the Cardinals in the series, championship series of the National League, had the Braves on the ropes. They were up 3-1.
I remember that. Joe Buck and I were doing the American League that year.
Okay.
That's when Cleveland. No, that was 95. No, Cleveland beat the Yankees that year.
96 was the Yankees.
Yeah, that's right.
Yankees won that year. And
so this was 96.
Right.
I thought you said 97.
Esteban Yan was probably the sweatiest major league player I've ever seen. I mean, this guy, it was a faucet coming off the bill of his cap. A close second, Donovan Osborne, Game 7 against Atlanta. He looked frightened. Jim Hayes, what do you have for us?
Well, you were talking about Waino earlier. John Mozeliak telling us Wainwright had his Achilles surgery this morning. All went well, according to Mo, who says patience will be the key for Waino as he begins a long road to recovery. Mo says Waino is wearing a brace that will immobilize his leg. He says Waino will go from that to a cast to a boot. A couple other updates. Marco Gonzalez coming back from a pec issue. Mozeliak saying Marco should be cleared to resume throwing today or tomorrow. He says Marco should be pitching in a minor league game by May 10th. Also, Mozeliak telling us Jaime Garcia threw a simulated game today. 5 innings, 54 pitches, no complications, according to Mozeliak. So, Dan, Marco and Jaime getting closer.
So, Jim, with Jaime, and there's Colton Wong at the plate. Runner at first is Molina. Next step for him, is it another simulated game, or does he begin a minor league rehab assignment?
As I understand it, they're going to want him to throw another simulated game. They just want to make sure that he's past the issue that he was dealing with and make sure that he's ready to go when they do give him a rehab assignment. I don't think they've made a final decision on that, Dan.
There's a base hit into right. Thank you, Jim. Yeah, once he starts that rehab assignment, the clock is ticking essentially on Jaime Garcia. Wong is 1 for 2. The Chevy Fox tracks. A base hit driven into right. The point being about that Game 7, old Donovan, and he had some good years. He pitched well in St. Louis.
I thought initially when you talked about it, you were talking about 97, but we did that series in 1996. The Cardinals were up 3-1, and Atlanta had 2 shutouts and a 1-run game to go to the World Series. Their starting pitching, 3 complete games, I believe.
Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox.
Yeah, right.
And
1 run they gave the Cardinals in 3 games, and 1 going away.
I've never felt, looking at a pro athlete, that the team has no chance to win. And I watched him that night, just warming up. And I mean, Tim, he was sweating. He looked pale, and I thought the Cardinals have no chance to win tonight. The big stage of Game 7 of the National League Championship Series of 1996.
And then that dramatic World Series where Atlanta won the first 2 games. And the Yankees came roaring back.
Charlie Hayes caught the final out of that series. John Wetland on the mound. Popped up and foul.
Andy Pettit's brilliant Game 5 where he beat John Smoltz 1-0 in the last game played at Fulton County Stadium.
Joe Torre and Brian Cashman found serviceable veterans to fill in and really bridge the gap for some of the younger players in the mid to late 90s. The core four were coming up, and man, were they awesome. Pettit part of that. Swung on and missed. Double steal, and Molina is out.
That's not a bad play. I know it looks bad because Molina's an easy out. That was a fine play by Rupp, by the way. It pitched down. Cosma swings through it. It was off the plate away, and Rupp threw a bullet to third base.
Donovan Osborne, by the way, in that game, 2/3 of an inning, 6 runs, and it was over. 1 out, 1 and 2 on Pete Cosma. Villanueva on deck.
Say that wasn't a bad play. By design, it was well thought out. You're not going to bunt because the pitcher's the next hitter. And the hit and run is a viable option if you get a strike on which to hit. Mike tried to do that, and Cosma swung through it.
And he strikes out. So Cosma is 1 for 2. First strikeout for Buchanan. Brings in Villanueva. I asked Mike Matheny about his major league debut. I said, what stood out for you? Phil Garner was the manager in Milwaukee. He asked Mike to pinch hit. He struck out. He said he went into the dugout, little tunnel, the old stadium, and shattered his bats. He said he just went ballistic. And he came back out in the dugout. He said all the veterans are looking at him like he's crazy. That's what stood out for his debut. And Stan the Man in the same broadcast.
Stanley Frank. Dobsha.
And an Expos cap. You're telling me those are popular at Cooperstown?
Yeah, they are hot items up at the Hall of Fame. The Montreal Expo retro caps. I think we may not be alive to see it. At least I may not. But I think Montreal, within the next 2 decades, will get another major league team.
2 decades. Yeah, I better be alive.
Yeah,
Give me
you
some
will
credit
be.
here, will you?
You will be. But I probably won't. I mean,
No.
that's just realistic.
Nah, you'll still be doing games.
I hope not.
A base hit to left, and or rather a fly ball to left, and caught by Holiday off the bat of Galvis. Yeah, I've had enough.
I'm obviously only kidding. But in 20 years, let's be honest, I will not be doing games in 20 years.
You still enjoy it, though, don't you?
Oh, I love it.
It's been great having you back.
Same here. Game's addictive.
Brian Finch was telling me the other day, he said one of the great moments that they've had, and he runs the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum, was seeing the '64 reunion a year ago, and the smiles on the faces of just some of the memorabilia over there. And he, in particular, mentioned you going up to the team photo and pointing out guys and telling stories and how much fun that was last season.
And some of those guys, we hadn't seen each other in 30, 35 years. A guy like Bob Humphreys, side saddle. He was named side saddle because of his windup from the hip. Then we started imitating him. Everybody.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, those things are just classic. And you're the only ones that know. Just a handful, a precious handful. And it's wonderful.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Darren Ruff. You know, you were part of 4 decades of Major League Baseball. I'm going to ask you specifically, though, about the Cardinals. What was your favorite moment?
Oh, gosh.
So many good teams you were a part of. There's a strikeout for Villanueva.
It's pretty easy to say. I don't know that I could point to a favorite moment as much as moments. Those teams were so talented. The '67 team was the best team I'd ever played on. And Lou Brock has recently said, I think with Red the other night, that the '67 teams you were telling us, the '67 team could have beaten the New York Yankees, the 27 Yankees, widely recognized as the best team. It would have been very interesting because that team did not make any mistakes. And the 27 Yankees was a team that did make mistakes. Example, when the Cardinals won their first World Series in Game 7, 9th inning in 1926, Babe Ruth was thrown out stealing for the last out of the World Series.
That's right. Think about that.
We would never have done that with the '67 Cardinals. I promise you that.
Some of the names on that team, legends in the game. Catch made by Holiday in a 1-2-3 inning for Villanueva. He's really settled things for the Cardinals, and we are midway through 5. A beautiful day here in St. Louis, the great baseball towns in the United States. 5-3 St. Louis. Surprise fees at checkout on StubHub. The price you see is the price you pay. Plus, with the StubHub app, you can buy and sell Cardinals tickets anytime. It's StubHub. Bottom of 5 rolls in. John Jay, Matt Carpenter, and Matt Holliday. Mike Matheny was also telling us that Phil Garner put him in a kind of a tough spot as a young player. And he said, I really remember this more so than my debut. Brian Harper was the catcher, was known as a very good hitting catcher, not great defensively. Mike's reputation was great defensive player even in the minor leagues. He gets the call up, and Phil Garner says, if player X gets on late innings, you're coming into the game. So go down to the bullpen and start throwing. And Phil Garner, player X, and I don't remember who it was, but made it to first base. And in the middle of an inning, Tim, called time and made a defensive substitution with his catcher in the middle of the inning. Can you imagine that?
And it was Mike Matheny.
And Mike Matheny came in. Brian Harper was out. And I said to Mike, I said, it's almost an embarrassing situation for the catcher, to take him out in the middle of the inning.
I know.
You had that happen to you?
Yes.
Who was the manager?
In 1970, Frank Lucchese, and I did not take it well.
Nor should you.
Mike Ryan came in the catcher, and Mike Ryan threw out Gene Kleins of the Pittsburgh Pirates as the last out of the game. And everybody's coming in and slapping Mike Ryan on the back. And I'm sitting there dejected as can be.
Sure.
It is embarrassing.
When a manager makes a move like that, double switch is one thing.
Yeah.
That's part of the game.
Right.
No big deal. I've seen it maybe 2 other times in which a manager, and I know you've seen it multiple times, but remember Bobby Cox pulling Andrew Jones out of a game because he felt he didn't take a good route to the ball, nor did he hustle.
That's a different deal, though.
Right. I mean, but the catcher,
yeah,
can you imagine
what
that?
the manager is saying is that you can't throw. I will give Frank Lucchese credit for knowing that I couldn't throw.
That's the only thing, though.
That's all. And Mike Ryan did have a better throwing arm.
But you don't do that, in my mind.
I know.
There's Diekman. He's trying to get on track. He came in middle innings the other night. Threw over 40 pitches. Make sure that your phone is always charged when you're on the go so you never miss a moment of the Cardinals in action. Tomorrow night, 25,000 fans entering with a ticket receive a portable phone charger courtesy of AT&T. And tickets are still available. We're expecting big crowds this weekend at cardinals.com/promotions. Outside the ballpark, there's Clark Street. Pan to the right is Ballpark Village. They're holding the Rams draft party there tonight. Since he arrived in St. Louis, the worst first month that Matt Holliday has had was 2012 when he had 215. In 2010, when he had signed his mega deal to stay in St. Louis, you could really see him pressing that first month, and he admitted to us that are with the ball club day in and day out, he said, there's no doubt. I felt the pressure of that contract, and a lot of talk around town at that time was he was making more money than Albert Pujols. And Holliday rips it fair into the left field corner. Carpenter on his way to third. Oquendo will wave him in. Relay to the plate. Throw is late, and Holliday is on fire. 6-3 St. Louis.
Jose Oquendo, one of the better third base coaches in the major leagues. Sometimes you have to wait for the play to develop near the wall. You can't make your mind up too quickly if you're a third base coach. But when about 2 steps before Matt Carpenter was at third, Jose had already made his mind up, so Carpenter didn't break stride and scored easily. But that is not an easy decision for a third base coach to make, or to have to make.
2 doubles, 2 RBIs for Holiday, and that will knock out David Buchanan. Can't get through 5. It's our Chevy call to the pen. Lone lefty is Diekman, a hard thrower. He'll come in when we come back. Cardinals on top 6-3 here in the 5th. Tomorrow, first of 3 in our first look at Pittsburgh. In my mind, it's the Cardinals and the Pirates. Cubs maybe in there. We'll see how their young players hold up for the rigors of a season. Full season here in the big leagues. Hit speed was 102.6 miles per hour off the bat of Matt Holliday to knock out Buchanan. Here's Matt Adams. 1-1.
Talked about Cole Hamels perhaps being gone this year. I think Jake Diekman is going to be a piece to be traded by the Phillies. There are a lot of teams that would love to have this left-hander.
He's nasty.
He is tough.
Still trying to get on track here early season. Numbers haven't been great. There's a look at Hamels. By the way, Tim, we were correct last night. Mike Matheny addressed it in his post-game press conference about would he have challenged the play at the plate in terms of having a lane for the runner. And he said absolutely. And he agrees it's a gray area right now. Just thinking about that with Holliday, the runner at second base. Potential base hit. You may have that play at the plate. 1-2. Adams. Shallow left. Base hit. Here comes Holliday. Throw to the plate is cut off. Matt Adams have a day. 3 hits, 3 RBIs.
Well, this story has just been compelling for the last 3 days, and I've got to tell it because our colleague Jim Hayes won't. Matt Adams told Jim Hayes that if he told this story on the air that he'd punch him in the mouth. He said that playfully, obviously.
We'll see. Go ahead.
Okay. Matt Adams' wife, Karina, because their Mastiff puppy doesn't like to fly, drove here a couple of days ago, 1,000 miles, from Western Pennsylvania. And since that time, Matt has just been on a tear. Driven in 6 runs of his 9 that he has all year. So now the question is Matt Adams going to punch me in the mouth?
You're good.
But the reason I'm telling the story is Jim Hayes told me to.
Oh, for sure.
I can add to it.
I was there when Jim said, please tell the story. Go
I'm
ahead, Jim.
I'm going to add to it.
All right.
One little bit. This is all on you, Tim, and he's going to leave you alone. Trust me. But the puppy's name is Tonka, like the truck. Adorable. I'm out.
That's it. Jim is going home. We may not see him this weekend. Or if we do, he'll be ducking.
I think if I stood toe to toe with Matt Adams, I'd negotiate.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Big dude, man.
Big city.
Big city is right. Spoiled by Molina, hit it out of play. 1-2 the count. Close the book on Buchanan. 4 1/3. 8 hits, 7 runs, walked 3, 1 strikeout. Gave up the home run to Adams.
And Matt's made it impossible for us not to tell the story.
Well, for us, I mean, he didn't say he'd punch us. For Jim, he made it difficult.
Made it pretty clear. So Jim's let it out. We just want Matt and his family to know that it was Jim who told us to say that.
All Jim. We wouldn't dare do something like that. But if it's on Jim, you bet. He's pretty shifty, though. He'll talk himself out of this one. The strikeout of Molina. Big day for Big City with 3 hits, 2-run homer, and 3 RBIs. Historic beginning for this staff of the Cardinals. Wainwright, Martinez, Waka, Lynn, and Lackey. Mentioned it last night in terms of fewest runs allowed. Best start ever by the St. Louis Cardinals, giving up just under 3 runs per game. A 7-3 lead, top of the 6th. And Jeff Francoeur leads it off, followed by Hernandez and Ashe. Carpenter, Holiday, Adams. So the Matt attack here today, 6 for 7, 2 walks, 5 runs scored, 6 RBIs. And a foul ball. Francoeur trying to bunt his way on, down by 4 runs.
We were just handed an extraordinary note about Carlos Villanueva. When he, in his career, while relieving for 2 or more innings, his record is 15-2 with an earned run average of 1.96. My gosh, look at that.
What do you take from that? He comes in and, you know, potential big leads and is relaxed?
I guess. Well, it is true that a lot of starting pitchers, one of the reasons, even if they have the talent, obviously they've got to have the talent. But one of the reasons they don't go long into a game is they're too nervous to start the game. They have time to think about it, particularly a starter in a 5-man rotation. At least, you know, 40, 50 years ago, when you had a 4-man rotation, the games came at you quicker. You had less time to think.
Villanueva in relief of Cooney. Lasted 2 1/3, so Carlos pitching into the 6th. And his role could be just so vital for this club over the course of the long season. Cardinals have publicly stated they want to be very careful with the innings with Martinez and Waka, and now no Adam Wainwright. Ground ball. Adams. Now the question for me would be this. His role is important, but watching what he's doing here today, he's going to be stretched out in 5 days. Is he your starter?
Would you put him in the number 5 spot? Not after one appearance, I don't think.
Famous Footwear and the Cardinals are proud to offer fans tickets for just $6 each to see the Cardinals take on the Diamondbacks, Brewers, and Twins. $6 seats. Now at Cardinals.com/famous footwear. Don't delay. This offer is too good to miss.
I say that, Dan, with the possibility of being dead wrong, because he may come back in 5 days. I don't know what way or how Mike Matheny would view this, and Derek Lilliquist. But it seems to me that you don't judge a pitcher on one start. If you're going to bring Cooney up, you give him a chance other than just the one spot start.
Jason Hayward puts it away. Villanueva looks good. Beautiful day here at Busch Stadium. In the driver's seat, look at the National League this year. The Cardinals' best winning percentage at 14-6. Matter of fact, the Cardinals have guaranteed at least a series split with the win last night. They haven't lost a series all year long. Only team in baseball that can lay claim to that. Have not lost a series. They split with the Cubs, won in Cincinnati, beat Milwaukee 2 out of 3 twice, swept the Reds, won 2 out of 3 against Washington, and they'd either split or win this series. DeFreitas is the new pitcher, right-hander, and Blanco takes over at second base. Tim, going back to what we're talking about here, Cardinals do have a right-hander getting loose, and that's Matt Belisle. And Villanueva, his spot is due up third for the Cardinals. A lot of different ways you could look at this. You know, you're hoping at some point Jaime Garcia is coming back. Marco Gonzalez, you're looking at maybe 10 to 15 days, just guessing, 2 weeks. So you're talking about maybe 2 steps that you've got to get to before you get to them. And those 2 steps are 2 starts. Those
are interesting and valid points, Dan. I don't firmly disagree with you, but I think the Cardinals, by making the decision to bring Cooney up, from a mental standpoint, you lose too much and you take more of a chance than leaving things with the status quo. Starting Cooney in 5 days and then having Villanueva ready to go. But that, I mean, these are the decisions that the Cardinals have to make, and obviously they're going to make it. And they're very good at making moves like that. I mean, this isn't 2 or 3 starts for Cooney. It's
right.
1, and it's bad. You know, if this were a good start, I'd be more inclined to send him down than if it were a start like it was today.
And people are saying, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And the idea is, as Cosma grounds out to third, you're saying more the mental aspect of being deflated with the start, then all of a sudden, well, there's a kick in the gut.
You might lose him.
And here's the next one going back down to the minor leagues.
Yeah, I mean, you have to weigh that. I don't know if the Cardinals will.
Good point.
It's that point. I'm not sure it's a point that they'll take, but it's a point.
Well, in 5 days, too, if Tim Cooney doesn't pitch well, you say our guy that is here to back him up, if need be, is Villanueva. He's your long man, so he's ready to go, too. Just something to think about.
And with Villanueva pitching, then you have a better chance of getting Garcia ready or Gonzalez ready. And they're more experienced, obviously. I don't know.
Here's Mark Reynolds pinch hitting for Villanueva. Outstanding job by Carlos. 3 2/3 of scoreless baseball. Carlos has won a ball game, extra innings against Cincinnati, picked up a win, lost with a walk-off home run in Washington, and has a chance to pick up a win here. They truly are the unsung heroes in many ways of a long season. You know, bullpen guys that don't get the credit of a starter or an everyday player.
Talk about a guy who restored order. Villanueva came in and did exactly that. I think if you're Mark Reynolds, you leave both feet trying to hit a fastball here out of the ballpark. And he didn't get one.
DeFreitas was thinking the same thing. He's going to lose it. Love the drink run with any size, any flavor McCafe shake for just $1.99 at McDonald's. Cardinals have received 4 walks today, and here's John Jay. Taken for a ball. Shot there from Ballpark Village. And a father and son I was hosting today, Tim, from Manitoba. And the dad had never been to a major league game, and he was told, you have to go to St. Louis. You have to take in this atmosphere. And they were just floored with Ballpark Village and made sure that they went over to the Hall of Fame, had them down on the field. Hall of Fame is really a must-see for fans when they come through town.
Yeah, the game here has become so expansive in the area.
Right.
With the Hall of Fame, Ballpark Village.
Reynolds stole a base and a strike on Jay. Justin DeFreitas, fastball, slider, changeup. Hyundai pitch arsenal. Hall of Fame right now as an exhibit on Stan Musial outside of the playing field, what he was doing in the community. Some really neat things to see.
Stan Musial was a general manager for 1 year, 1967, and predictably, the Cardinals win the World Series.
Of course.
Stan saying, hey, it's no big deal. Going back to business.
The folks in Ballpark Village, that's Fox Sports Midwest Live. The 1-2.
We were talking about Yogi Berra last night, and both agreed that there was something mystical about, and is something mystical about Yogi, and I think you could say the same thing about Stan.
Were you in awe of Stan when you first saw him?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
Had to be, right?
Yeah. First spring, 18 years old, and catching behind Stan Musial hitting. You kidding? I didn't want to leave.
I bet.
I didn't want him to leave.
1-2.
Oh, coiled up stance where nobody can hit from. Nobody's ever even tried it. How do you do that?
This past week, I think it was the anniversary of when he played his 1,000th game at first base, and he had played well over 1,000 in the outfield, then 1,000 at first base. And then the numbers, when you looked at where he was position-wise in baseball history, it's mind-boggling. It was unbelievable.
7-time batting champion. The most remarkable statistical thing in our game is 36-30. The amount of hits, 18-15 on the road, 18-15 at home. Mystical.
The 2-2. Honest question for you. How would those type of players do today? How would these type of players do back then?
I don't know.
Is there that much of a difference? Because, you look at football, how much bigger they are. They're bigger now, but baseball hasn't changed. It's 60 feet, 6 inches. Dimensions the same.
Well, because the guys are bigger now doesn't mean the game is being played better now.
Sure.
And that's an objective answer, as objective as I can be.
It's fair.
Guys are bigger, stronger, faster, better athletes. Base running has been, to me, the biggest difference in the change of the game over the last 30 years. Base running simply is not as good as it once was.
Walk to Jay. 10-pitch at bat. I would say this, the hitters of today are dealing more with specialists, and obviously Jackie Robinson changed the game, so you're going to have a different perspective with that in terms of the players that are playing it. Then on the flip side, you say, well, there weren't nearly as many teams as we see today, so it's a diluted product to an extent, as opposed to the great players that were on those teams.
I don't agree with
50s
that.
and 60s.
I don't agree with that. I think because there are more people in the country too.
Yeah.
So it would stand to reason that there would be more ball teams and more ball players. And we talked about the speed and the strength. I know offense is tapered off, but I've never bought into that argument about it.
Well, it's interesting because you're wrong. Okay, Tim? You're wrong. And I'm here to tell you what. No.
That's why I like to discuss things with you, because there's always that black and white.
Bob McClure goes out there and he says, all right, Justin. Blah, 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 blah. And Justin's maybe listening, maybe not.
Oh, hi. Birthday girl. Hey. Say hi, look up there. Say birthday girl. 6 years old.
All right, we got the story. Happy birthday to that 6-year-old. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Where they are situated, by the way, Ballpark Village, there's a little outdoor field. It's where home plate was with Busch Stadium 2.
Those last two pitches, that's one of the reasons that baseball has changed. The pitching, splitters have been introduced to the game with devastating effect on hitters. It makes hitters go out of the strike zone to swing the bat. Tough enough to hit the ball in the strike zone. But that split looks like a strike and normally isn't, the good ones.
2-1. Fly ball lifted down the left field line, slicing foul. There's another aspect of the game right there that's changed. The stadiums, how they're constructed, the lack of foul territory.
Just compare it to Oakland, for instance.
Night and day.
You run all day and all night for a foul ball.
That's a catch in Oakland. Could be.
Yeah, right. Easily.
Two. Taken low. A 7-3 Cardinals lead. 9-hit attack. And Matt Carpenter's had a big hand in it. RBI double. Pair of walks. 2 runs scored. Out of play. Misspoke. Carpenter's had 3 runs scored today. It's another 3-2 pitch on its way. Into the gap, left center, and the catch is made. Cardinals strand 2. They've left 4 on, and they lead it 7-3 as we head to the 7th. baseball. Matt Belisle is in for St. Louis. The Hyundai pitch arsenal: fastball, changeup, slider, and curve. And pretty good numbers to start this year for Matt Belisle. Cameron Rupp leads it off, the catcher today for the Phillies. Cardinals with Randy Choate throwing in the pen. Seth Maness is up and throwing as well. 1 ball, 1 strike. Time a sharper breaking ball than his last time out for Matt Belisle.
That's the key for Matt, to get that slider to go down.
On the outside corner, and a strikeout of Cameron Rupp. And that's how we start play here in the 7th inning. Plaza Tire Fox Tracks, the strikeout of Cameron Rupp.
You know, we saw that how many times and what percentage of pitches Matt throws, and we show that with every pitcher. I think that one of the keys to that, if you're a hitter, the one thing you want to know is, what does this guy throw when he needs an out? Is it a sinker? Is it a riding fastball? Is it the split? Is it a breaking ball? And the best way to find out things like that is if you're on a team and your team trades for a catcher, to go and talk to him about the team that he just left and what his pitching staff did and what they do in a situation where they really need an out. I'm not talking about facing you and throwing you high fastballs or breaking balls behind in the count, even though that's important.
1-2 is hit out to right, backing up Jason Hayward to make the catch.
But when you pick the brains of catchers who are traded for when you're on a team, I mean, you can learn an awful lot about the pitching staff that he just left.
You find as a hitter now,
right,
that today's day and age, there's almost too much information given to a player about a pitcher, and what you're talking about is to get that one key out.
I think it's too much video. I think more of that should be done. More of the common sense thing
of going to talk to that catcher.
I remember the Phillies traded for a guy named Barry Foote, who was a good major league catcher and good with the Montreal Expos. And I asked him specifically about Steve Rogers, and he said whenever Steve Rogers is in a bind, he always goes to his sinker. And from that point on, I hit him all right before. From that point on, I wore him out. It was almost like I was calling his pitches.
You think at this level, when these guys know what's coming, or if they guess right, watch out.
Pitchers don't change their technique. They don't change their habits. And I mean, the information that you can get from catchers traded to your team, it's
invaluable.
Invaluable.
2 balls and 1 strike. How many times then is it reversed where a pitcher comes over and you talk about a particular hitter, if that pitcher is paying attention, let's say, and watching how he's being pitched?
You don't get the same inside information. No. Pitchers are less inclined to talk about hitters, but catchers would gladly help you. You know, they've been traded from a team. I'll tell you all you want.
Right.
It's like a spy or something.
The 2-2. Ooh, doesn't get the call. Full count.
And plus, pitchers don't pay as much attention to their hitters as they do other hitters.
Right. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. And with that, time to stretch. Fourth and final game of this series. 7-3. Cardinals on top. Four and a third. Ruff goes 2 for 3 with a homer. Tim Cooney, major league debut, 2 and a third. Matt Adams, 3 for 3. A home run, 3 RBIs. The big story that developed for the Cardinals, Carlos Villanueva, what he's been able to do this afternoon. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run, $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And here's Holiday. A pair of doubles for Matt today. A couple of runs scored. Couple of RBIs. Oh, and 2. Look at the size of Holiday. He is such a big man. Works out, keeps himself in great condition. Rarely, if ever, do you see him get cheated on a swing. He's going to let it fly.
Oh, yeah.
Hits the ball as hard as anybody in the game. First got to St. Louis, Mark McGwire tried to keep the front leg down. See, he's got that little trigger mechanism.
Yes.
Tried that for a little while and then abandoned that when McGwire was the hitting coach and went back to what felt comfortable for him.
Yeah, I know Matt has chosen the right sport, but when he was 21 years old, it was a matter of football or baseball. That's how big he is. Quarterback at Oklahoma State.
Down the left field line and foul. There were comparisons at the time. I've talked to Matt about this, and his dad and his brother are in college baseball and coach, but the comparisons at the time was that he is a young Troy Aikman as a quarterback, who was from that area too. Aikman from Henrietta, Oklahoma. Matt from Stillwater in that area around there.
Troy Aikman, a high school pitcher, also. Imagine he threw hard.
I would bet.
Troy, a great guy with Fox Sports, works with Joe Buck. What a job they did in that playoff game, the last game they did last year. I think it was their best.
It was Seattle Green Bay.
Oh my gosh, what a game.
One-two pitch to Holiday. Matt's uncle is a scout with the Colorado Rockies, and when Matt was drafted, he actually was an infielder at the time. Third baseman, then moved to the outfield. Two. Two pitch to Holiday. Muscles it to second on a hop. One away. Adams trying to make it a 4-hit afternoon. Single to right, 2-run homer, and an RBI base hit against the lefty Diekman in the 5th. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. We both were talking to some scouts that were here at the ballpark this week. They mentioned the athleticism of the Pirates, and we'll see them tomorrow. A.J. Burnett, Francisco Liriano, Vance Worley all scheduled to pitch. Not Garrett Cole. Cardinals counter with Lance Lynn, John Lackey, and Michael Wacha. The always positive Clint Hurdle will be here. Howard will take it himself. 2 down. He may have been the perfect guy for that spot. As positive as he is.
Yes, he is.
Trying to get them out of their losing ways, and he's done it. The Adult Performance t-shirt, that is Sunday. 25,000 fans 16 and older entering with a ticket. Take home the Adult Performance t-shirt. Think about Buck Showalter and changing the culture of the Orioles too. I mean, you really need a leader, a guy that can deal with young players, understand the players of today, the growing pains. And when Clint got there, it was Alvarez, McCutchen, Neil Walker all coming into their own. It's sharply to short. And the Cardinals go in order, 1, 2, 3. That sends us to the top of the 8th. Redbirds on top, 7-3. Date with Pat Paris. Pat, thanks. 8th inning, 2nd inning of work for Matt Belisle. But the Cardinals relief corps so far, Villanueva and Belisle, they've retired 13 in a row.
Nary a base runner.
What would possess you to do that for a baseball game? I realize it's draft day, but we had a shot of those guys actually grabbing each other and bumping heads, like they're getting ready to play linebacker on a Sunday in the fall.
They've probably bumped heads before. A lot.
So they continue to do so as a result of the bumping heads.
Yes.
Two and two on Freddie Galvis.
Mentioned Clint Hurdle coming in with Pittsburgh Pirates tomorrow night. I'll never forget the line in 1985 that Clint had after a game at the old stadium.
Out to center field. Jay shading from the sun, one away.
It was one of the great regular season games that I've ever seen. A 1-0 New York Mets win in the 11th inning on a home run, a hanging curveball from Ken Daly to Darryl Strawberry, and he hit it forever to right center field, and it hit the clock in Old Bush Stadium, Bush 2. And the next day Clint came out to the bench and he said that clock took a licking but kept on ticking.
I remember that,
which was the John Cameron Swayze catchphrase for Boulevard, I guess, or
Rolex. I thought.
Rolex, was it?
Maybe. Wasn't it Rolex? No, Timex. That's what it was.
Right. There you go. And did that clock ever take a licking? I mean, Darryl smoked that ball. And that was such a huge win. It was the last week of the season. And then Doc Gooden beat the Cardinals the next night. The Cardinals had to win realistically one game. If they did, it was going to be very difficult for them. And they beat Rick Aguilera on a Thursday night. And that left 3 games left in the season, and the Mets couldn't catch the Cardinals. But what games they were.
Fun. Rivalry was so much fun. Those teams.
The ratings for the New York television station, WWOR, for those 3 games has never been surpassed since then for a regular season game, drawing like 28 ratings. Phenomenal. There was such interest in that rivalry, the Cardinals and the Mets, during those years.
Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full day of NHL, NBA playoff action and today's Major League Baseball games. See it simulcast later tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. When you have a rivalry like that, you've got to have villains.
Oh, man.
That's what makes it fun.
There were villains all over the place.
You bet.
Cesar Cedeno would come back with the Cardinals. Ozzie Smith, of course, Ozzie loved it. And you know, you talk about adoration. I mean, New York fans loved Ozzie Smith, but they loved to boo him because he beat the Mets all the time.
Sure.
You know.
That's it for Belisle after the walk, and here comes Randy Choate, 7-3 St. Louis.
phenomenal. In game one, it was John Jay twice to the identical spot in right center field off the bats of Chase Utley. And then it was Peter Borges this time last night in the right center field. And then this afternoon, it was John Jay once again. Center fielders have been all over the place for the Cardinals.
Right on cue. This time they've got to come in. Shift was on for Ryan Howard, and Matt Carpenter puts it away. You can see with that graphic too, or the way that it was designed, the long way that a outfielder has got to go, the track, the route that they need to take. Chevy called to the pen for Randy Choate.
And how important positioning is too, Dan. My view, what makes John Jay such a good defensive outfielder is he plays shallow. He can get the ball shallow and deep, going back on the ball very well. And on cue, here comes Peter Borges. Takes over. Fourth pitcher for the Cardinals this afternoon. And the bullpen for the Cardinals in April has certainly been stalwart.
So was Peter Borges last night.
Oh, man.
You could see how happy his teammates were for him to finally put it together. A full, complete game of defense, the speed, big hit with the triple. Mike Matheny telling us before the game today, he said Peter Borges is much more than a late defensive replacement or a guy that we just come in to steal the bag. He's a good player. He said we haven't always seen that, but I'm here to tell you he's a good player. Brady Sizemore at the plate against Seth Maness with 2 outs. Microfracture surgery. We've heard that used in sports the last 5 or 10 years, and Sizemore went through that multiple times. Give him credit to be back in the big leagues. Grounds out. Maness gets the final out. Here at the top of the 8th. Cardinals on top. chance to stay in the game and drink responsibly. Bud Light. New pitcher is Luis Garcia. Chevy called to the pen. Garcia to pitch. Grady Sizemore stays in the game and takes over in right field. Yadier Molina. First pitch. Hit to short. One away. Nobody throwing in the Cardinals' pen. 4-run lead. That should be Seth Maness's for the top of the ninth.
I guess it's early to talk about missing a particularly hot pitcher, but it's certainly of note that the Cardinals will miss Garrett Cole, who pitched last night, won his 4th game in a row. He's 4-0 with a minuscule earned run average.
At times, the Cardinals have had fits with Francisco Liriano. He'll pitch against John Lackey on Saturday. Tomorrow, Lynn and A.J. Burnett. Michael Wacha, Vance Worley on Sunday. Burnett was with the Phillies last year. There's a foul ball. And actually accepted less to sign with the Pirates for what he called a chance to win. He didn't believe the Phillies had that chance. Accepted less. And back with Pittsburgh for the second time.
We've talked about Gordon Lakey, the director of scouting for the Phillies, and he told us the other night that Liriano has really had problems with left-handed batters this year. So that should, if those problems continue, should play into the hands of the Cardinals.
It's Sharpley to first. What a pick there by Ryan Howard.
You know, we're not saying something that the Cardinals don't know. Right. I mean, the Cardinals know Liriano. They're go-ahead scouts in their scouting department. They know he's had problems with left-handed batters.
Two things stand out. Heavy left-handed lineup. The other thing is, the Cardinals have had fits with him because 2 years ago his slider was as good as anybody's in the game.
Wicked. And he couldn't pick it up.
Right.
It disappeared. And that when your slider is disappearing, you got him.
You were talking about that last night with Carlos Martinez.
Yeah.
Here's Pete Kozma. There's a look at Carlos. Undefeated so far this year. Luis Garcia, one of the deals he was involved with from L.A. to Washington for Ronnie Belliard in August of 2009. And Ronnie, one of the postseason heroes of the Cardinals run in 2006. Jim Edmonds started handing out game balls in that postseason run, and it was Ronnie Belliard with a play in San Diego in shallow right. Just a tremendous defensive play. They said that's the game ball, and it got the Cardinals rolling in that postseason. 2-2. The 06 team, a great example of in baseball today. Get on a run late in the year, get hot, anything can happen. Just get in. 3-2. Upstairs to Kozma, and Borges will hit.
Sometimes it's the least expected player, too. Guys like Pete Kozma.
Washington in 2012.
Yeah.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Short lead at first by Pete Kozma. 2 outs. First pitch to Borges is a strike. Not only was the hit, Tim, big for Peter Borges, but he had 2 hits in the game, one up the middle, the other one was the triple the other way, and the Cardinals have talked about that with him.
On the first pitch, too. I like to see Peter more aggressive early in the count. I think what happened last year, it was that he was trending toward taking that first pitch so often. He got in the hole, swung at a lot of bad balls. I think it'd be better served first ball hitting more. I am not from that school of thought of driving a guy's pitch count up. I don't care about his pitch count. It's what he's throwing to you right now. That's the pitch I care about. And if it's the first pitch that is the good one, whack it.
Base hit into right. Actually going to have you write a chapter on pitch counts. And
no, you won't, because I'm not doing it.
Chapter 2 will be sabermetrics. Chapter 3 with Twitter. Tim's greatest hits.
I wonder when the first year and the first hitter was the guy who started saying, boy, I'm going to get up to the plate now and drive this guy's pitch count up. If that makes sense to any logically thinking baseball fan, then let's talk.
Just have a heart-to-heart, huh?
Yes.
2 outs, 2 on for John Jay.
We talked about it last year. We saw a leadoff hitter with an 11 pitch at bat, and he made an out. He goes back to the dugout, and his teammates are congratulating him. For what? Being 0 for 1? Huh?
Well,
what?
Pitch counts are looked at. Thank you, John Jay. Let's move on. Base hit to left. Runner will score. But that's Pete Kozma. 8-3 Cardinals.
And a big hit by Peter Borges.
Hey, I know what you're saying, though.
Oh, I mean, you know.
I'm just giving you trouble.
I know you are. I know we're kind of kidding or trying to present it in that fashion. But when an at-bat, a guy's worried more about getting a pitch count up than getting a hit, I'm sorry. You're wrong. Dead wrong.
Cardinals have done this with 2 outs after the righty Garcia got the first 2, extends it to Matt Carpenter. Johnny Peralta has moved to the on-deck circle. How many times do we see it, though? Guy that 11, 12, 13 pitch at bat strikes out.
Matt Carpenter, but Matt Carpenter can hit, and he can hit with 2 strikes, and he can hit behind in the count.
Right. And what you're saying, that's the big difference. I mean, don't worry about the pitches taken. If you have a pitch to drive, get after it. Straight away in the outfield for Carpenter. Now, I don't know if he'll get a base hit here or not. I will tell you, though, this at bat by Matt Carpenter will be as competitive as his first. And this is what makes him the player that he is.
Gives away nothing.
It's sharply left side, off the glove of the shortstop, and the bases will be loaded. Base hit for Carpenter. Hey, Tim, it's kind of a lazy afternoon. Cardinals in control of this game. 5-run lead. Some guys, just part of the game. You just will not see the competitive at bat that maybe you saw from that individual in the beginning of the game. This guy, I don't remember ever seeing that.
And that's the unnatural thing about being as competitive that last time. It's natural to say, oh, well, got a couple of hits, we're winning the game. Don't do it intentionally, but I won't put as much into this at bat as I did the first one. Not this guy.
Cardinals 2 nights ago changed the leadoff man. So in this series, you've had Carpenter, Jay, Borges, again Jay this afternoon. And let's just say it's paid off. 8 for 17. 3 runs, 4 RBIs. Now the base is loaded for Peralta. Tim Cooney off the hook and then some. Major league debut for Cooney today. Same pitch, waved at it, 0-2. Peralta is pinch hitting for Holiday. Matt Adams is on deck. It was the double switch. So Peralta is in this spot. Full disclosure, I was in the bathroom. Things happen. Didn't quite see it. Tim was carrying the broadcast and I wasn't here. Got to be honest, Tim.
Hey.
One, two to Johnny Peralta. It's a good play by Rupp. Keep that in front. So really what I should do is blame you and say, you know, what's going on here? Because it clearly could not be my fault for this.
We have a difficult time reading each other's scorecards also.
Nice. It's an inexact science on how to keep score. It still was your fault.
I'll accept it. It's part of my job.
See, in our world, that's what we worry about. You had a double switch. You figure, I got 90 seconds, okay? Run, come back. That's what it is. Start taking 40 times for broadcasters. Bases loaded. Crowd comes alive on a 3-2 pitch. And it's a bases loaded walk and an RBI for Peralta. Fell behind 0-2. Worked the count full. And the Cardinals add another run. It's now 9-3. And Matt Adams could have a huge afternoon here. It's already been big with 3 hits. This is all Garcia right now. He got the first 2, and all of a sudden the Cardinals have picked up 2 runs. No activity in their pen. Inside to Adams. Budweiser player of the game, Matt Adams, 3 for 4, 2-run homer. That was in the 3rd. Pair of singles and 3 RBIs. Pitch. 2-0. Adams the other way. This is well hit. Stays in the ballpark, and the catch on the track. Cardinals strand, the bases loaded, sends us to the top of the ninth. 9-3 St. Louis. ERA just over 2. The Cardinals leading 9-3.
When Kevin Segrist was having that magnificent year 2 years ago, I was shocked to see that there were 1,234 players picked ahead of him.
His round that he was picked in, 41st,
41. Yeah,
does
41st.
not exist anymore. Think about that.
Go figure. A left-hander who throws as hard as he does, even though from what I understand when they signed him he was not as hard a thrower. But has he ever filled out and helping the Cardinals once again?
A 1 pitch to Ben Revere. And the idea, I think what you're saying is that if he was this size, right-handed, and throwing 88, that's one thing. But this size, 88, with a body that's going to mature,
get bigger, yeah,
left-handed,
right,
being the key, that somebody would have taken a flyer on him.
Sure.
He's told me that he nearly quit baseball a couple of times, and that his dad said, son, you're left-handed, you're going to get bigger. By the way, put your glove back on, you are not quitting. He said he wanted to quit, dad wouldn't let him. He's very thankful that that took place. Goodbye. There's a strikeout of Revere.
Right on the outside corner to Revere. Actually, it was right down the middle of the plate.
Cody Ashe. 1 out, nobody on.
I guess if Kevin had not pitched for a living, he would have become even more of a Buffalo Sabre fan. Fanatical hockey fan.
I've told him I would be happy to introduce him to Brett Hall, who, by the way, is a season ticket holder for the Rams and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well,
and
get him up here.
Well,
use your influence.
We got a problem.
What?
Brett Hall scored the Cup clinching goal against his Buffalo Sabres.
Oh my gosh.
So Kevin, out of respect to his hometown team, said, I'm not sure I really want to meet Brett Hull. He said, I do, but I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. Very controversial goal that many believed. There's a rule with being in the crease that Brett Hull was in the crease when he scored the goal, so that gave them the Stanley Cup. And Brett is back now working with the St. Louis Blues. 1-2 pitch. But you're right, he is as big a Buffalo Sabres fan that you will find. Certainly living in the Midwest, and maybe overall.
And from Buffalo.
Originally from there, then they moved down to Florida. One-two pitch. It's always nice when you have a ball game and you don't mention the umpires all that much. And I thought Laz Diaz has done a very good job behind the plate today.
They've had a very good series, all of them.
Three balls and two strikes. Left center, Borges with his speed. He's got it. Two down. Reminder, we'll have Jim Edmonds with us tomorrow in the ballpark. Give him a microphone. He'll be situated in center field, and we'll talk about just the reads and different things that he picks up from that vantage point that he is oh so familiar with. Center field. Final hope for the Phils, Cameron Rupp. Fly ball, right field. Hayward over in the corner and can't come up with it. Off the base of the wall, and it gets away. Rupp on his way to third. And it's a two-out triple.
There's a guy who's not going to get many major league triples.
Tim Cooney's parents. I'm sure a very emotional day for them. Their son went 2 1/3. Andres Blanco, switch hitter. Fly ball, shallow left. John Jay. He's got it, and the Cardinals take 3 of 4 over the Phillies. Major league debut of Tim Cooney. Only 2 1/3, but the Cardinals win it. Offense, big day with 12 hits, 9 runs, 9-3 the final.
Things could not have gone better for the Cardinals these last 3 games. Offense, defense, pitching. Not much left to the game. In every facet, they were superb.
Game 1, they had Hamels on the ropes. Phillies take game 1. Cardinals win the next 3. Emotional day for that family. Major league debut of Tim Cooney. 9-3 our final.